Hi there. Hi, Paul.
Hey, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. So, this is the first podcast. This is the first Unistock episode in English, and our guest is uh, Paul. Paul has a lot of project, a lot of idea, a lot of good contribution for humanity. I would say. So let's begin. Who is Paul?
hmm So, my name is Ngei, and I am a technologist, I think, living in Poland, in Warsaw. I am a programmer. By trade, I work for different companies, but right now, I am mostly focused on open source and open hardware. So, technologies which are patentless and technologies which are widely shared between people. So, if I invent something, if I create something, I share it so that people in other parts of the world can use it as well. And we can learn from each other and build something together. And I'm really interested in spreading this not only as an engineering technology, but also as a way for us to create our futures together so that it is not only dictated by some people living in Silicon Valley in the US, having huge enterprises and telling us that, oh, this will be our future, but how we locally can create technologies for ourselves and share with all the people around the world. And within that, to explain that, I started like first I started education at schools, teaching people about technology, about open source, open hardware, teaching some cybersecurity. But later I realized we need to have a better story of our futures, of like how do we describe our futures in books, in our imaginations.
Okay. Uh, what draw you in the narrative space and literature and this movement? And you are developer. You are very. I assume, of course, you are
Mhm.
logical. You are. Um, so this is there is a gap between the dreamer and the doer and the logical one and that who love writing, love imagining things and such.
Mhm.
What
So.
draws you to this space, the art and fiction?
Mhm. So I see this gap as being much smaller than a lot of people do. Because for me, being able to imagine something and to analyze something is like very close to each other. Because we need to be able to imagine things to ask questions, also in technology. I work with a lot of hackers, people creating open source and open hardware technologies, and they need to have a lot of imagination asking how could technology work differently than it does? Or can I do something different with this piece of technology than I have? And I realized that once I got into the movement and I loved it and I loved all the people creating so many beautiful things, I cannot explain what they are doing to other people because we don't have stories in the culture that would explain it. And if I want to talk to a teacher, to a baker, if I want to talk to a nurse and explain that, hey, we could be using open technologies we share all around the world, I cannot really find a language. And at first, that was only trying to explain it within what I see in Poland. But later, I started working with people from different regions in the world. And it was actually some stories from Iraq and then some stories from Sierra Leone that really inspired me. And I saw people using technology to save lives and to do absolutely wonderful things. But nobody in the West and in the North believed them. And I spoke with Europeans, I spoke with Americans who were like, okay, I can see that this thing happened, but this is so unbelievable that I will not write about it. And I cataloged some stories that I found in different places. But I couldn't get a reporter to cover because it's so unimaginable that an African would invent something better than a European would. And I want to share those stories to show people that we have wonderful things all over the world.
Okay, very nice. So, what's Solarpunk?
So Solarpunk is a narrative. It's like there's this question: is it more of an art genre, or is it a movement which describes our future in context of climate change, in context of what will wait for us within the next 20, 30 years? All over the world, but also which imagines how instead of going into a dystopia, we can actually build a better world to prepare ourselves locally, and how this world can be better than what we have right now. So Solarpunk wants to imagine a world with more justice and equality, not only the way it is currently defined within one society where everybody in America is supposed to be equal, but where people around the world can be equal to each other, and they can self-determine, and they can decide how they want to live, living sustainably without any single company coming and telling you, oh, you need to live this way, you need to use our products, you need to use cars instead of your traditional ways of communicate of transport. And essentially assuming that people know what works within their regions, what infrastructure works for them, how they can live with each other without one global project, but at the same time that we can communicate and share our ideas and learn from each other. So Solarpunk wants to offer those imaginations of working together and locally, and saying that yes, we will face a lot of problems, because for for the Arabic speaking regions, for Middle East and North America and North Africa, you will have a lot of problems with heat waves, you will have a lot of problems with water. We in Europe will have a different set of problems depending on which specific region will be hit by what, but we can adjust to that, and we can start making resilient communities and resilient infrastructure. But we need to imagine that, and whether this is utopian, whether this is something which is like flawless and perfect, I don't like the perfection. I want to imagine the hard work that will take us there, and I want to imagine stories which tell which describe how we can get there using the technologies we have, and making it so that every person, no matter where they are in the world, is acknowledged, and their work is highlighted, is seen. And I've been working with Solarpunk movement for the last 8 years, and I would like to
Wow,
highlight that
eight.
I am speaking with the translator of the manifesto to Arabic, and I wanted to thank you so much because we needed that. The Solarpunk manifesto was translated to Arabic thanks to you.
My pleasure. It's an honor to do that. Thanks. So, tell me or tell us all about your project Story Seed Library.
Okay, so I realized that with Solarpunk stories, we have stories and they go in different directions. American stories tend to go one way, European tend to go the other way. There are some stories from different regions in the world which kind of try to imagine something, but we don't have a visual language. We have some artists trying to imagine a better future, but they all they can get easily uh, they can easily go astray and start imagining something magical instead of how realistic the world could look like, or they could only imagine how something would look like in let's say American or European pastoral places. And we want to imagine the world like for everyone in different places all around the globe. So I started approaching artists and asking them, would you like to share your art on an open license called Creative Commons, which is very similar to open source or open hardware, where different people around the world could use it for their blogs, for their projects, and where they could spread your art, spread this idea, and build on something which is not just a random skyscraper with a tree on top of it, but something showing community, something showing infrastructure that we need to create together, something showing more than just the US and Europe. And I got at first only a few artists, but right now we have, I think, more than 20 artists sharing their art, and we have over 100 illustrations on a web page which is translated to multiple languages to allow people from all over the world to use it. And I am actually trying to get people from different regions, including from North Africa and from Middle East, to also contribute and show how they imagine the futures for their regions in context of the climate change.
Okay, and I saw some the arts. It's very, very fascinating and green, futuristic, very cool. Okay, so we have uh, what you have to say to Arab world, Middle East, and North Africa regards to your project, your commitment to this project and such.
Mhm. So, first of all, I would welcome you to translate the project, not only to make it available wider, but to also immerse yourself and see if there are any futures you would like to imagine for your region, not only the cultural region, but specifically your country or even your town. And I welcome you to start imagining this aloud and telling your own future, how you would like to live, no matter all the Western companies, no matter how the world outside looks like, but imagining a future which is not dictated by others. I welcome you to share that and to feel that you are a part of a dialogue and you are a part of a community, because we have so many artists, we have so many engineers that want to reach out and create together. And you are a part of this. You can be an equal voice in the debates, and creating technology, creating narratives of the future together is something that only you know what your region needs, only you know what people around you need. And you shouldn't wait, or you shouldn't expect people from outside to come and give you solutions, because those solutions will never be yours and will never be exactly what you need. If you voice that, you can help not only yourself, but you can help people in similar situations which may have similar needs, but they haven't had the perspective that you have. And that you understand, and that you could build locally. You don't need to wait for something to be shipped from China. There's a lot of technology that we can build locally. And I mentioned to you before, there are several wonderful communities. And in Egypt, there's the Cairo Hackerspace, there was the Maker Express project. There are several really wonderful open source and open hardware creators from North Africa that I would really like to see more of and sharing. And I would also like to highlight if I see any such people, so that my own networks and people I know can also reach out and we can build something together.
That's very nice and very good. So thank you, Paul. And we talk in other occasion, God willing, inshallah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.